Amazing Business Results: The Front Door of Your Business by Lior Azik, a client companion for day-to-day lead operations. Audiobook edition, an amazing business results publication. Chapter 1, A Note from Me. Before we begin, if you are listening to this, you are likely a client of Amazing Business Results or someone on a client's team. We built your CRM, we maintain it, and we wrote this audiobook as a companion to the written guide so that the same material is available to you in whichever form suits the moment. The written guide for reference at your desk, the audio for the commute, the walk, the workout, or whenever you take in information better through your ears than your eyes. Before we get into the substance of the chapters ahead, I want to tell you a story. It is a story about leads, but it is really a story about what becomes possible when the system you use to track them is finally doing its job. A few years ago, an HVAC and plumbing business in Texas came to us as a prospect. 5 salespeople on the team, all of them doing the same job, taking inbound leads, qualifying them, putting together quotes, trying to close. The business was healthy enough to grow. The marketing was producing volume, and the owner had a sense that something was off without being able to put his finger on it. They were running a basic CRM at the time. I will not name the platform. There are several in this category, and I have no interest in throwing stones. But the description will be familiar to anyone who has lived with one. A pipeline view with columns. Drag a card from left to right when something happens. That was most of what the system did. It stored the names. It let you see them on a board. Beyond that, the salespeople were on their own. We installed Zoho CRM, connected the phone system, connected the forms, wired up the basic dashboard so the owner could see, for the first time, what was actually happening at the front door of his business. 2 things became visible inside the first month. The first was that 2 of the 5 salespeople were hurting the business. Not in any dramatic way. They were not stealing. They were not insulting customers. They were not doing anything you could point to in a single moment. What they were doing was taking too long to respond to leads. The owner's own standard was under 1 hour from the moment of inquiry, already slow for an HVAC and plumbing operation where the industry standard is under 30 minutes. And these 2 salespeople were taking hours, sometimes days, to make first contact. The other 3 were inside the window most of the time. The 2 were not. On the old CRM, this had been invisible because the old CRM had no concept of response time. On Zoho, with the timestamps automatic and the dashboard configured, the gap was glaring. One of those 2 salespeople had a second pattern that the data exposed. Leads that arrived on Friday after lunch were being ignored. Leads that arrived on Monday morning were being ignored. There was a particular rhythmic shape to which leads got abandoned, and once you saw it on the chart, you could not unsee it. I want to mention this in passing because it is one of the most common patterns in sales operations. The Friday after lunch and Monday morning lead avoidance. I think there is enough to say about it that it deserves a book of its own. The salespeople are not being malicious. By Friday afternoon, they are mentally already at the weekend. A lead that arrives at 2:30 in the afternoon is going to require a callback that interrupts a head that has already left the office. By Monday morning, they are catching up on email, easing back in. The lead that arrived at 9 o'clock is going to wait until the salesperson feels ready to make calls. So the lead waits. And by the time the salesperson gets to it, the lead has called somebody else. The second thing the dashboard surfaced was about marketing. The owner had been pouring most of his marketing budget into Google ads and Facebook ads. The channels everybody in his industry pours money into. The lead source breakdown showed those channels producing the bulk of the volume. 12% of leads, however, were coming from referrals. Customers recommending the business to friends, family, neighbors. A small slice of the pie chart. The kind of slice that gets ignored in a marketing review because there are bigger numbers to talk about. When we layered the conversion rates on top of the source data, the picture flipped. The referrals were converting to closed deals at multiples of what the paid channels were doing. They were the smallest source of leads and the largest source of money in the bank account. The paid ads were producing volume. The referrals were producing customers. The owner sat with that report for a long time. He had been running the business for a decade, and he had assumed, like most owners assume, that the channels with the loudest numbers were the channels that mattered. The data said something different. The conversation that followed was about whether the smarter move was to keep escalating the cold advertising spend or to build an internal referral incentive program, paying his existing customers formally for the introductions they were already making informally. That conversation does not get to happen at a company running on a pipeline board CRM. The data is not there. The dashboards are not there. The owner is operating on instinct because the system is not capable of producing anything else. The owner had not chosen to operate on instinct. The system had chosen for him. This is what leads are. They are the front door of the business. Every customer your company will ever have is going to walk through that door. And every customer your company is currently ignoring is walking out a different door without anyone noticing. The marketing spend, the website, the brand, the reputation, the years of work, all of it converges on that one moment when a stranger raises their hand and says, "I might be interested." If your company catches that moment, the customer enters the building. If your company misses it, the customer goes somewhere else. And the cost of that miss is invisible until you start counting. That is what this book is about. How to make sure the front door of your business is guarded, properly captured, properly responded to, properly tracked, properly followed up on, all the way through to either a customer relationship or an honest no that frees the company to invest its attention somewhere else. Your CRM has been built to support all of that. The chapters ahead walk through what that looks like in practice. The capture channels, the life cycle of a lead, the speed of first response, the way scoring helps your team work the highest priority leads first, how qualified leads convert, how disciplined follow-up wins the deals most salespeople give up on, how nurturing keeps long window leads alive until the timing is right, and the roles inside your team that make the whole operation work. If the only thing you and your team take from this audiobook is a clearer view of what should be happening at the front door of your business and the habits that make it happen, then it has been worth your time. Let's begin. Lior Ezek, Chapter 2. What a lead is. In your CRM's data model, the lead module is intentionally separated from the contacts and accounts modules. That separation matters. And before we go any further, it is worth understanding why. If every inquiry your business received went straight into contacts, the contacts module would fill up with strangers who never bought. Names the salespeople do not recognize. Leads who entered fake email addresses. Curiosity clicks that had nothing to do with real intent. The signal-to-noise ratio in contacts would collapse, and the salespeople who should be working their qualified relationships would be wading through unqualified ones to find them. The leads module exists to absorb that messy first contact. A lead can carry incomplete data, a vague reason for inquiry, a junk email, or a name that turns out not to belong to a real prospect. All the things that would corrupt the contacts module. The cleanup happens at the moment of qualification. On duplicates. Duplicates are common. The same person submitting a form twice, calling once, and engaging with a social media post happens all the time. The right way to handle them depends on the business, and your CRM has been configured for one of two approaches. Some configurations allow duplicates and treat them as separate signals of repeat interest. Each new record represents a separate touch worth tracking. This is particularly common when leads come from social media, where the same person may not be aware they have already submitted before. Other configurations check for matching records when a new lead arrives, merge the new information into the existing record automatically, and notify the record owner that the same person has surfaced again. The database stays clean. The salesperson is alerted to the repeat signal in real time. No signal is missed. If you are unsure which approach your CRM uses, ask your manager or reach out to us at Amazing Business Results. Do not assume. The wrong assumption can lead to either duplicate records the team did not expect or merge records the team did not expect. On qualification and conversion. When a lead is qualified, meaning the salesperson has confirmed there is a real person with a real need at a real company with the means and the timing to potentially buy, the lead is converted in a single action. The conversion creates 3 new records in your CRM. A contact record, That is the person, an account record. That is the company they belong to. And usually a deal record. That is the revenue opportunity. Three records created from one conversion. The lead record itself is removed from the active leads list at that moment. From that point forward, the relationship lives in the contacts, accounts, and deals modules. And the lead's role is complete. A lead that is not qualified, wrong fit, no need, wrong region, wrong size, fake submission, is marked disqualified. The record stays in the lead module as a reference of what came in. It does not pollute the contacts list. It remains searchable, reportable, traceable, but it does not enter the relationships layer of the CRM. This structural separation is the reason the leads module exists, and it is the reason most companies' lead handling problems trace back to bypassing it, either by entering leads directly into contacts or by never converting leads at all and trying to work them as if they were contacts. Both produce the same outcome, a CRM that cannot tell the difference between a lead and a customer. Your CRM has been built to prevent this. Your job as a user is simple. Use the leads module for inquiries. Convert them when they are qualified. Chapter 3. Where leads come from. Leads enter your CRM through a small number of channels. Your CRM has been configured to capture as many of them as possible automatically, rather than relying on a salesperson to type the lead in by hand. Let me walk you through the channels. Web forms. Web forms are the most common online channel. The forms on your business's website are connected to the leads module in your CRM. Submissions arrive automatically as new lead records. The lead source field is populated for you. And if the form is tagged for a specific campaign, the campaign field is populated too. If you need a new form built or an existing form modified, a new field added, a different landing page tied to a specific campaign, a new auto-response email sent to the lead, contact amazing business results. The forms are part of the CRM configuration we manage on your behalf. Phone integrations. If your business uses a phone system that is connected to your CRM, inbound calls create lead records automatically. The call is logged against the lead, and the call is routed to a salesperson based on availability. Without this integration, the salesperson has to remember to log the call manually, and many do not. Email integrations. If your business's inbox is connected to your CRM through Zoho Mail, Gmail, or Outlook, an inbound email from a new sender can be flagged as a potential lead, parsed for contact information, and converted to a lead record. The level of automation depends on how your CRM is configured. Trade shows and in-person events. The cleanest way to capture leads at a trade show or in-person event is through a QR code rather than typed in by hand later. The QR code lives on the booth, the signage, the handouts, the business card. The lead scans it with their phone. A short form opens, and they enter their own information directly into your CRM. The alternative is for the salesperson to use the same form on a tablet or phone and enter the information on the lead's behalf during the conversation. Either way, the data flows into the system with proper context attached. Lead source set to trade show. The specific show name and date stamped on the record, something like Trade Show, New York, April 2026, and any other capture metadata configured ahead of time. By the time the salesperson is on the plane home, every lead they met is already in the CRM, attributed correctly, ready to be worked the following Monday. If your business is attending a trade show, contact Amazing Business Results in advance. We will configure a dedicated capture form with the show's name and date preset. Manual entry. Manual entry is the last resort fallback. It is for situations where no structured capture channel applies. A walk-in to a physical store, a chance conversation at a networking dinner, a paper business card with no QR or form available. The salesperson types the lead into the system by hand. This is the channel where data quality is most fragile, because the lead exists only as long as the salesperson remembers to enter it. If you find yourself entering leads manually on a regular basis from a channel that could be automated, raise it. There is usually a configuration change that can move the channel from manual to automatic. Imports. Bulk arrivals, a list of attendees from a conference, a partner referral file, a purchase list. are handled through the import wizard in the CRM. For small, occasional imports, your team can perform them directly. For larger or recurring imports, contact Amazing Business Results. We will make sure duplicate handling, field mapping, and qualification routing are configured correctly before the data lands. Why the capture point matters. Each channel determines what data the lead record arrives with. Web form leads usually arrive with email and phone, but no purchase history. Phone leads arrive with phone, but often no email. Email leads arrive with email, but often no phone. Manual entries arrive with whatever the salesperson typed in. The capture point is the moment when data quality is set. The more of it the system captures automatically, the less depends on the salesperson's diligence in that moment. And there is one field above all others that has to be filled in at the capture point: the lead source field. A lead without a source field is a lead the company cannot attribute. A pile of unattributed leads is a marketing budget the company cannot defend. Your CRM has the lead source field configured as required wherever possible, and your CRM police roll audits it monthly. Every blank lead source is a hole in your view of which marketing actually works. If you create or edit a lead manually and the source field is empty, fill it in honestly. And if you do not know the source, ask your manager before guessing. Chapter 4, the lead lifecycle. A lead moves through a predictable sequence of states between arrival and resolution. The states are tracked through the lead status field. It is one of the most important fields in the lead module and one of the most consistently neglected. Keeping it current is one of the user's core daily responsibilities. There are 5 status values you need to know. New, the default status for a freshly captured lead. The lead has arrived, nothing has been done with it yet. A lead in new status is a lead waiting for attention, and the time it spends in this status is one of the most important operational metrics your business tracks. Contacted, the salesperson has reached out by call, email, or other channel, but has not yet had a substantive conversation. Voicemails, emails sent without reply, and one-sided outreach all sit here. Qualified, the salesperson has had a real conversation, confirmed that there is a real opportunity, and is ready to move the lead to the next stage. Qualification triggers the conversion event that we covered in the previous chapter. Disqualified, the salesperson has determined that the lead is not a real opportunity, wrong fit, no budget, no authority, no need, no timeline. Disqualification closes the lead, but the record stays in the system for reporting and future review. A lead disqualified today may be requalified next year if circumstances change. And nurturing, this is a status for leads that are real but not yet ready to buy. The lead is qualified in the sense that they belong to the right profile, but they are not in the buying window. Nurturing leads stay in the system, exposed to ongoing communication, and re-engaged when the timing changes. We will cover nurturing in detail in a later chapter. Both the lead status field and the lead source field are pickless. Both require diligence from the user and oversight from the CRM police role to stay clean. A lead status field where most records say new 3 months after arrival is a lead status field that is not being maintained. And at that point, every report that depends on it is producing fiction. Treat status updates as part of the work, not as paperwork after the work. A short note on referrals. Before we move on, one quick research finding worth keeping in mind, because it usually surprises people when they hear it for the first time. When the lead source field is populated honestly, most businesses discover what the Texas HVAC owner in the opening story discovered. Their referral channel is producing customers at far higher rates than their paid channels. The research backs this up at scale. Referred business-to-business leads convert 30 to 70% better than leads from any other source. They close 69% faster, retain 37% longer, and carry a 16% higher lifetime value. And despite this, fewer than 20% of business-to-business companies operate a structured referral program. They leave one of the highest return channels almost entirely to chance. If you are an owner reading the lead source dashboard honestly, you will usually find a referral signal hiding inside the volume, and a budget reallocation worth more than any single paid channel optimization. Keep an eye on it. Chapter 5, Speed to Lead. The most studied operational metric in lead handling is the time between when a lead arrives and when somebody from the business responds. Research done at MIT, replicated multiple times in the years since, found something that should change how every business in the world treats new leads. The odds of qualifying a lead drop sharply once response time exceeds 5 minutes from the moment of inquiry. Wait an hour, and the odds drop further. Wait 24 hours, and most of the leads who would have engaged have already moved on, lost interest, or contacted a competitor. Now, let me give you the specific numbers because they are striking. Companies that contacted a lead within 5 minutes were 21 times more likely to qualify that lead than companies that waited 30 minutes, and 100 times more likely to make contact at all. Independent research has also found that roughly 78% of customers buy from the company that responds first to their inquiry. 78% of customers buy from whoever responds first. Every minute of delay between lead arrival and first response is money walking out the door. The reason for this is straightforward. A lead who fills out a form is, at that moment, actively thinking about the problem your business solves. They are at their computer. They have the tab open. They are receptive. 5 minutes later, they have moved on to the next thing. An hour later, they are in a meeting. A day later, they have submitted forms on 3 other websites and are talking to whichever competitor responded fastest. Speed to lead is not a vanity metric. It is the highest leverage operational dial your business has on its lead operation. And your CRM gives you the tools to win on this dial. Whether you actually win depends on how quickly your team responds when the system notifies them. How your CRM helps you win on speed. Your CRM is configured to remove as much human delay as possible from the speed to lead chain. Let me walk you through what is happening in the background. First, assignment rules route leads from web forms, imports, and integrations to the right salesperson the moment they arrive. The routing can be based on region, product interest, source, or round-robin distribution among team members. Second, workflow rules trigger instant notifications to the assigned salesperson by email, by text message, by in-app alert, by chat tool integration, whichever channel the salesperson actually pays attention to. Third, auto-acknowledgement emails fire to the lead within seconds of submission. So your business's presence is felt before the salesperson even picks up the phone. Fourth, escalation rules surface a lead to a manager if it sits unanswered past a defined window. So a lead that slipped through the cracks does not stay slipped. And finally, response timestamps are recorded automatically. The dashboards track average response time at any granularity. Your team's actual speed is visible at all times, not just at the end of the month. The system carries most of the responsibility. The remaining responsibility is yours. When your CRM tells you a lead has been assigned to you, respond inside the 5-minute window, if at all possible. Even if you cannot do the full call yet, send the first acknowledgement, schedule the call, and update the lead status to contacted so the system knows the lead is being worked. After hours, weekends, and the AI layer. There are situations where even a well-configured CRM and a disciplined team cannot consistently respond inside the 5-minute window. Lead volumes outpace the team's capacity. Business hours do not match the time zones leads are arriving from. Weekends, evenings, and holidays produce a steady stream of inquiries that no human is awake to answer. The team is small enough that any single absence, a vacation, an illness, a long meeting, breaks the response chain. For these situations, AI is now the next layer of the speed-to-lead operation. AI agents handle inbound lead conversations across nearly every channel a buyer might use. Web chat, social media direct messages, text, WhatsApp, inbound and outbound voice calls. The AI does not replace the salesperson. It engages the lead at the moment of arrival, qualifies the inquiry, books the meeting, and hands the warmed-up conversation off to the human team for the parts that require a human. The deeper consultation, the negotiation, the close. The strongest entry point is usually after-hours coverage. A lead that arrives on a Saturday night, a Sunday afternoon, or a Tuesday at 2 in the morning in another time zone is a lead that historically waited until Monday morning and frequently bought from a competitor in the meantime. AI on after-hours alone can recover a meaningful portion of that revenue. If your business is interested in adding an AI receptionist to your lead operation, or has already added one, This is a layer that Amazing Business Results configures and integrates with your CRM. Autovance automation is one example of this category and is one of the platforms we work with. The point for you as a user of the CRM is simple. When an AI agent has engaged a lead before you pick it up, the conversation history and qualifying answers are already on the lead record. Review them before your first call. A final thought on speed. A lead unanswered is a lead lost. The 5-minute window from the MIT research is real. After 5 minutes, the odds of qualifying the lead drop sharply. After an hour, they drop further. After 24 hours, the lead has usually moved on to whichever competitor responded faster. Your CRM has been built to put leads in front of you as fast as the technology allows. Your job, once you see the notification, is to act. Speed is the highest leverage operational habit you have. Chapter 6. Lead scoring. Not every lead is equally valuable. Let me describe 2 leads, and you tell me which one your salesperson should call first. Lead number 1. A senior decision maker at a company in the right industry, with the right size, the right geography, the right role. They filled out the form on the pricing page and asked specific questions about implementation. Lead number 2. A junior researcher at a company in the wrong industry who filled out a generic contact form, gave a free email address, and listed no real company name. Obviously, lead number 1. But here is the thing. In a CRM that does not score leads, both of those records arrive looking the same. Same row in the list, same color, same priority. The salesperson has to read each one and figure out which is which. And the time they spend reading is time they are not spending calling. Meanwhile, lead number 1 is at peak interest, and lead number 2 never had any. Lead scoring is the technique your CRM uses to distinguish the two automatically. Each lead is assigned a score based on attributes: job title, company size, industry, geography, source, behaviors, which pages they visited, which content they downloaded, how they responded to outreach, and signals, whether they engaged with email campaigns, whether they returned to the website. The score sorts the leads from highest to lowest priority. In practice, this means your daily leads list view shows the highest priority leads at the top. Work them in order. The score updates as the lead moves through the system. So a lead that crosses a behavior threshold, multiple pricing page visits, a meeting booked, a reply to an outreach email, will rise toward the top automatically. How the score gets calculated. The exact scoring model in your CRM has been tuned to your business by Amazing Business Results. The general logic is the same across implementations. Points are added or subtracted based on field values and behaviors that have, historically, predicted whether a lead becomes a customer. If you notice the score is consistently surfacing leads that are not actually high priority or hiding leads that are, raise it. Scoring models are tuned over time as the team learns which signals actually predict conversion in your business specifically. We can adjust the weights and rules. Some businesses also use Zia, the AI layer inside Zoho, to produce predictive lead scores based on historical patterns of which leads have converted in the past. Whether your CRM uses this feature depends on your configuration. Ask your manager or check whether predictive scores appear on your lead records. Chapter 7. Lead enrichment. A lead arriving from a web form usually carries the minimum data the form required, and nothing more. A name, an email, a phone number sometimes, a reason for inquiry sometimes. Without help, the salesperson then has to figure out who the person actually is, what company they work for, what role they have, and what context surrounds the inquiry. And they have to do this before the next lead arrives. Lead enrichment is the practice of adding that context automatically at the moment of capture by pulling data from external sources and attaching it to the lead record. Your CRM does this using Zia, the AI layer inside Zoho. When a lead arrives, Zia looks up the email domain, identifies the company, pulls the company's industry, size, and location, identifies the lead's likely role from public sources, and populates the lead record with all of it before you open the record. By the time you see the lead, it has gone from a name and an email to a contextualized profile, job title, company name, company website, industry, geography, social profiles where available. The 15 minutes of pre-call research that used to be required collapses to 30 seconds of review. The conversation that follows is a different conversation than the one that would have happened with a blank lead record. How to use the enriched data. When you open a lead, look at the enriched fields before you pick up the phone or write the email. The few seconds it takes to absorb that context changes the tone of the conversation. Industry and company size tell you whether the lead fits your target profile. Job title tells you whether the lead is a decision maker, a researcher, or somewhere in between. Geography tells you whether the lead is in a region you service well. And social profiles, when present, give you a small amount of personal context. Recent role changes, shared connections, professional interests. The kind of detail that can make a first conversation feel less cold. Zia also extracts data from email signatures automatically when leads come in by email. And before any field is overwritten on an existing lead, Zia presents a side-by-side comparison, so the salesperson can accept all changes or pick them one by one. Some businesses use what is called waterfall enrichment. The lead is checked against multiple data sources in sequence until the profile is as complete as the data world allows. If your business uses this approach, Amazing Business Results has configured the source priority and integration for you. The salesperson does not need to manage it manually. The enrichment runs in the background. Chapter 8, Conversion. When a lead has been qualified, the conversion event turns the lead record into a contact, an account, and, typically, a deal. The conversion is performed in a single action. The salesperson clicks Convert, confirms the destination account, either an existing one or a new one, and the system creates the records and links them automatically. The contact record holds the person, the account record holds the company, the deal record holds the revenue opportunity. The activities, notes, and history that were attached to the lead carry forward to the new records. So the relationship's timeline stays intact. Nothing is lost in the conversion. After conversion, the lead is no longer accessible the way an open lead would be. It is removed from the active leads list, and the day-to-day work happens in contacts, accounts, and deals from that point on. The data continues to exist in the underlying database, which is what allows your business to report on lead-to-customer flow over time. But the salesperson does not navigate back to the converted lead in their daily work. Convert promptly when a lead is qualified. Do not let qualified leads sit in the lead module. It crowds the active leads view with records that should have been graduated, and it distorts the metrics on how many leads are actually still being worked. Conversion is one of the cleanest signals of progress your business has. It should fire the moment qualification is genuine. A note on lead conversion mapping. There is a configuration setting inside your CRM called lead conversion mapping. It controls field by field which lead fields populate, which fields on the new contact, account, and deal at the moment of conversion. Standard fields are mapped by default. Custom fields, the ones added for your business's specific data capture, must be configured explicitly. Otherwise, the data is silently lost on conversion. This is a setting Amazing Business Results manages for you. It has been configured before your system went live, and we recheck it anytime a new custom field is added to the lead module. You do not need to touch this setting yourself. What you should do is flag any case where you notice data missing from a converted record that you remember entering on the lead. If you filled in a custom field on a lead, and that field does not appear on the resulting contact, account, or deal, tell your manager, or contact us. It usually indicates a mapping that needs to be checked, and we will fix it before the next conversion happens. Convert promptly, disqualify honestly, nurture the rest. A lead module clogged with leads that should have been converted, disqualified, or moved to nurturing is a lead module nobody trusts. The salesperson cherry-picks the obvious and ignores the rest. The dashboards lie. The reports go stale. The habit is two-sided. Convert the qualified ones promptly. Disqualify the ones that are not real. Move the long window ones to nurturing. A lead in new status for 3 months is not a lead anymore. It is a record of the company's failure to handle it. Chapter 9. Follow-up. Most leads are not ready to buy on the first contact. The decision maker is busy. The timing is wrong. The team needs another conversation. The budget is in the next quarter. The leads that buy on the first call are the exception. The leads that buy on the third, fifth, or eighth touch are the rule. Research on business-to-business sales has been replicated across multiple studies, and the finding is consistent. The average customer requires somewhere between 5 and 10 touches before they convert. Most salespeople give up after 1 or 2. The gap between 5 and 2 is where the majority of available revenue lives, and it is the gap that disciplined follow-up closes. Let me share a specific number because it tends to stick in the mind. The Rain Group, in their top performance in sales prospecting research, based on a study of 488 buyers and 489 sellers across 25 industries, found that it takes an average of 8 touch points to generate an initial conversion with a new prospect. Top-performing sales organizations achieve the same outcome in 5 touches. The rest require more. 8 touches. 8. And most salespeople, according to the same research, stop after 1 or 2. The math is direct. A team that follows up consistently to 8 touches will convert prospects that a team stopping at 2 will lose entirely. The follow-up gap is not a productivity problem. It is the difference between the pipeline a business believes it has and the pipeline it actually has. How follow-up works in your CRM. Your CRM is configured to take as much of the follow-up burden as possible off the salesperson's memory and put it on the system. There are 3 mechanisms at work. First, tasks and scheduled activities. They surface the next required action on each lead at the right time. When the action comes due, the lead appears on the salesperson's daily list. The salesperson does not have to remember. The system remembers for them. Second, email templates and scheduled sends. They handle the standard outbound emails of a multi-touch cadence. The first touch email, the follow-up after no response, the re-engagement after a longer silence. The salesperson does not have to write each one from scratch. Third, where your CRM has been configured with a sequence engine, defined cadences run automatically. Emails, call reminders, text messages, they fire at the right intervals based on lead status, score, and time since last touch. The salesperson does not have to remember to follow up. The system surfaces the next action at the right moment. Amazing Business Results has invested heavily in this area. We offer proprietary patent-protected follow-up sequencing for businesses that need a deeper, multi-channel cadence than the standard configuration provides. If your CRM is using this layer, you will notice that follow-up actions appear in front of you reliably and on time. If it is not, and your team is finding that follow-up depends too heavily on memory, raise it. We can extend the cadence layer in your environment. What the user is expected to do. Your job in the follow-up loop is to actually take the actions the system surfaces. When a task appears on your list, do it. When a reminder fires, act on it. When a sequence drafts an email for you, review it. Personalize the parts that need a human touch, and send it. The system runs the cadence. You supply the actual conversation. Do not give up after 2 attempts because the lead has not answered. The data says the conversion sits at 5 to 10 touches. If your CRM's cadence is calling for an 8th or 9th touch, trust it. The leads who buy on the 5th, 8th, or 10th touch are the ones that the rest of the market has given up on. Those are your wins. Most revenue is in the follow-up, not the first call. The salespeople who give up after 1 or 2 attempts are leaving the majority of available revenue on the table. The salespeople who follow up consistently, 5, 8, 10 attempts, find that the conversion rate climbs steadily with each touch. The habit is not natural for most people. Your CRM has been built to do the remembering for you. So all you have to do is take the action when it appears. Take it. Chapter 10. Nurturing. Some leads are real but not ready. They fit the profile. The need is genuine. The company is the right kind of company. But the timing is 6 months out, or a year, or longer. The wrong response is to disqualify them. The right response is to keep them warm. Nurturing is the practice of staying in front of long window leads with light, helpful, non-pushy contact until the timing changes. The mechanism is usually a sequence of educational emails sent on a slow cadence, once a month, once a quarter. They share useful information related to what the business sells, without asking for a meeting or a sale. The point is to be present, to demonstrate expertise, and to be the business the lead remembers when their timing finally arrives. Let me give you the research case for this, because it is one of the strongest in lead operations and one of the most consistently ignored. Forrester Research found that companies excelling at lead nurturing generate 50% more sales. Ready leads at 33% lower cost per lead than companies without a nurturing program. The annuitas group adds the second half of the equation. When nurtured leads finally buy, they make purchases that are 47% larger than non-nurtured buyers. Let me say that again, because the combination is what makes it remarkable. 50% more leads at 33% lower cost, and the deals close 47% larger when they do close. The combined effect compounds. A business that builds a real nurturing program is producing more qualified pipeline at lower cost and converting that pipeline into bigger deals when it closes. Most businesses do not nurture. The ones that do win. An example, the appliance repair company. Let me tell you a story about a real client of ours because it is the clearest example of nurturing done well I can give you. One of our clients runs an appliance repair business. They had been spending around $50,000 a month on paid advertising for 8 years, which means, if you do the math, their CRM held an enormous database of leads accumulated over almost a decade. Most of those leads had gone cold long ago. Some had used the company once and not been back. Others had inquired and never converted. Many had been one-time customers years earlier. The challenge with appliance repair is that it is not a recurring purchase business. Nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks, "Today feels like a good day to fix my dishwasher." The customer needs the company at one specific moment, the moment something in their home breaks. And at every other moment, the company is invisible to them. The traditional marketing playbook assumes you can stay in front of customers by talking about what you sell. For an appliance repair company, talking about appliances to people whose appliances are working is talking to nobody. So we did not talk about appliances. We went one level up to home protection. An appliance repair customer is, by definition, a homeowner. The home is one of the largest investments most people will ever make, and there are dozens of small, practical things every homeowner should be doing to protect that investment. The nurturing campaign became a stream of those tips, useful, seasonal, specific, and in most cases, the kind of thing the homeowner had been meaning to do and had forgotten. Let me give you a real example. Many of our clients' customers are in Canada, in cold climates. Every year, late October, the campaign sends an email reminding homeowners to close and drain the outdoor water valve before the first hard freeze. If the valve stays open and the line freezes, a pipe bursts. The homeowner is suddenly looking at thousands of dollars of water damage and an emergency call to a repair company. The email is 2 paragraphs, no pitch, no call to action other than, "Here is the reminder. We hope it is useful." The replies that came back said it all. Customers writing, "Thank you, almost forgot," with smiley faces. Customers forwarding the email to their parents and their neighbors. Customers replying with their own questions about other things in the house, the furnace, the water heater, the sump pump. The campaign was not selling anything. It was being useful on the schedule of the homeowner's actual life rather than the company's sales calendar. Then the dishwasher broke, or the fridge stopped cooling, or the washing machine flooded the laundry room. The moment the appliance failure happened, the one moment, somewhere in the year, when the customer suddenly needed a repair company, there was only one company they remembered, the one that had been showing up in their inbox with the water valve reminder, the seasonal furnace tip, the small piece of advice that turned out to be useful 3 weeks later. That is what nurturing does when it is done well. It treats the lead database as a long-term asset rather than a quarterly funnel. The leads who did not buy this month may need the business in 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. And the business that stayed in their inbox with something useful is the business they call when the moment finally arrives. How nurturing works in your CRM. Your CRM has been configured to handle nurturing automatically. Email templates, scheduled sends, and workflow rules deliver the right messages to the right segments on the right cadence. without anyone having to remember to press send. Where the cadence branches based on lead behavior, leads who open get one path, leads who ignore get another, the branching is handled by the system. Your job as a user is to identify the leads that belong in nurturing and set the lead status to nurturing. The system will pick them up from there. Do not confuse nurturing with disqualified. A disqualified lead is one that is not a fit. A nurturing lead is a fit whose timing is wrong. The distinction matters because disqualified leads exit the active cadence and nurturing leads stay in it. Chapter 11. The 4 roles in your lead operation. 4 roles touch the leads module on a regular basis. Most businesses have all 4. Sometimes the same person wears more than one hat. Each role is responsible for specific behaviors, and the team works well when each role does its own part. The owner. The owner reads the lead's dashboard. The relevant numbers are these: lead volume by source, response time average, conversion rate from lead to qualified, and conversion rate from qualified to closed. The owner does not need to look at individual leads. The owner needs to spot when one of those numbers is moving in the wrong direction and ask a question about it. That is the owner's job. The manager. The manager runs the team off the lead operation. The questions every week are these: who is converting? Who is not? Which sources are producing? Which are not? Which leads have been sitting too long without follow-up? Which salespeople are responding fast? Which are responding slow? The pipeline review meeting is run from the live dashboard in your CRM, not from a slide deck. The data is already there. The manager's job is to read it, ask the right questions, and act on the answers. The user. The user, the salesperson, the SDR, or whoever is responsible for working leads, owns the day-to-day, speed of response, completeness of records, honest status updates, activities logged the same day they happen, notes that contain useful detail, leads converted promptly when qualified, disqualified honestly when they are not. If you are listening to this audiobook and you work leads day-to-day, this is your role. The user role is the role most directly responsible for whether the lead operation produces results. Everyone else in the operation is supporting what you do. The CRM police. The CRM police owns lead data hygiene, duplicates flagged and merged, lead source pick list kept clean, lead status field actually maintained. Leads do not sit in new status 3 months after arrival. Required fields filled. The CRM police does not work the leads. The CRM police makes sure the records the salespeople work are clean enough to be trusted. In most of our client environments, the CRM police is an internal person at your business, often the operations manager or senior administrative role, supported by amazing business results on the configuration side. If your business does not have a designated CRM police, raise it. Without someone owning hygiene, the data quality erodes over time, and the dashboards stop telling the truth. Chapter 12. Common mistakes to avoid. Let me close out the substance of this audiobook with the patterns that consistently break a lead operation. Your CRM has been built to prevent most of these, but the technology alone cannot prevent the ones that depend on user behavior. Recognize them in yourself and in your team. Mistake 1, leaving the lead source field blank. Without a populated source, marketing attribution is impossible. The budget conversation cannot be won. The business is back to allocating dollars on opinion. Your CRM has lead source configured as required wherever possible. When you are entering a lead manually, fill it in honestly. If you do not know the source, ask before you guess. Mistake 2, treating speed to lead as somebody else's job. As long as the team depends on the salesperson seeing the lead and choosing to respond fast, the average response time will be measured in hours. Your CRM puts the lead in front of you fast. The rest is on you. When the notification fires, act. Mistake 3, stopping follow-up after the 2nd or 3rd touch. Most prospects buy on the 5th through 10th touch. Salespeople who stop at 2 leave most of the available revenue on the table. Trust the cadence the system schedules. Take every action the system surfaces. Mistake 4, not maintaining the lead status field. A field that does not get updated produces dashboards that lie. A salesperson who marks a lead contacted, has the conversation, and never moves the status to qualified or disqualified, leaves the lead in limbo. Updates status the moment the situation changes. It is part of the work, not paperwork after the work. Mistake 5. Entering leads directly into contacts. This pollutes the contacts module with unqualified records. It breaks the structural separation that makes the CRM useful in the first place. Use the lead module for inquiries. Convert at the moment of qualification. Mistake 6. Ignoring nurturing. Leads that did not buy this quarter are not dead. Treating them as dead is leaving the highest return marketing channel, the relationship building over time, entirely unused. Move long window leads to nurturing status and let the system carry them. Mistake 7. Watching lead volume but not response time or conversion rate. Volume is the easiest metric to read, and the least useful one in isolation. A business can produce more leads every quarter and lose money if those leads are converting at a lower rate than the cost of producing them. Owners and managers should track volume, response time, and conversion rate together. Your CRM's dashboards do this for you. Read them honestly. Chapter 13. What to take from this audiobook. 3 things to take with you as we close. First, the leads module is the front door of your business. Whatever your business spends on marketing, branding, and customer acquisition converges on the moment of capture. If that moment is mishandled, the rest of the spend is wasted. Your CRM is built to handle the capture cleanly. Your job is to handle what happens next. Second, 2 fields drive nearly every meaningful metric in the module: lead source and lead status. They look small. They are the most consequential fields in the system. Filling them in honestly, in real time, is the difference between a CRM that produces real attribution and pipeline visibility and a CRM that produces convincing fiction. Treat both fields with the seriousness they deserve. Third, speed and consistency are the 2 operational dials you control. Speed in the first response, consistency in the follow-up. The data on both is unforgiving. The system has been built to support you on both, and your behavior is what determines whether the support translates into results. If you take care of those 3 things, the rest of the lead operation tends to take care of itself. Your CRM is not a database to be fed and forgotten. It is a working tool that, used properly, makes the team faster, the manager better informed, and the owner more confident in the decisions that drive the business forward. If anything in this audiobook is unclear, or if you notice the system behaving differently than I have described, contact Amazing Business Results. The system has been built for your business, and it can be adjusted as your business evolves. We are here to support the configuration. You are here to use it well. Thank you for listening. Now go open your CRM. There are leads waiting for you. Lior Ezek.